Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Monday, September 7th, 11 p.m. Mountain Time 2020. The models are in, and they are not funny. Here are the totals through Thursday. We're talking 3 feet of snow in the southern Rockies of Colorado. But the big story, California power crisis set to worsen as PG&E warns of outages. The state's biggest utility warns of outages as high winds near, with triple-digit heat and the state entering its peak fire season. Keep calm. It's burn time. Here we see those red flag warnings and watches in Nevada, California, Oregon, and Washington State, which are going to add fuel to the fire. Also, winter storm watches and warnings. We'll get to it. Here's the interactive map for PG&E's possible rolling blackouts. The regions in light blue, that could be you. Come check out the map. The links will be below. But we're going to check out Power Outage US right now. And here is the continent of Factardia on the west of the US. And we can see 61,000 without power in Washington, 85,000 in Oregon, 52,000 in California, and still, from Hurricane Laura, 135,000 people without power in Louisiana. And those numbers will increase, especially on the West Coast, in the next 24 hours as wildfires spread. And you may want to remain indoors, especially if you're in Colorado, as air quality advisories are issued across the state. Fort Collins area fire explodes, prompting Rocky Mountain National Park closures and people being warned to stay inside. And this is the Cameron Peak Fire. Yes, the Cameron Peak Fire, one of the largest fires in Colorado history. Yes, Colorado Springs residents are urged to stay inside if the smoke is thick. And it is thick, not just in Colorado Springs, but down at Three Canyons Permaculture Farm. Check it out. Well, I'm just waiting on the blizzard to come tomorrow. It's over 90, and it was clear this morning. And within a few hours, this is what happened. So, clearly a fire kicked up here, and I'm gonna go investigate what's going on, because this is a lot of smoke real quick. According to the wildfire map, there's a fire that just lit up 7 miles west northwest.
Chart 9 News at 5 with new images out of Larimer County of the Cameron Peak Fire. This is what Sheriff Justin Smith saw earlier today near the town of Rust.
Sorry about that. We're going to just shut that off and get back to some of the footage from our fire. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Take a look. Just down the road. So I am looking at the Continental Divide, and about 2 miles up the road from Oppenheimer, Three Canyons, and the visibility is just about, I'm gonna say 4 miles. So smoke's getting worse, and I haven't even turned on to 84 yet, which is the road north into town. And the fire is supposedly positioned 7 miles west-northwest of town, so it should get worse. Should get worse. You may want to remain indoors, yeah. But we didn't, because that's just how we do it. Now, let's talk about the winter storm in summer. Colorado Springs is gearing up for winter in September, of all places. Denver is under a winter storm watch 2 days after the city hit 101 degrees. What is happening? Well, let's read some. Residents of the Mile High City will go from experiencing record heat to preparing for a sudden snowstorm. The city is expecting more than a 60-degree drop in daily high temperatures from 101 Saturday to a predicted 37 degrees on Tuesday. Sunday was kind of hot too, with a high of 99. 37, by the way, is going to be the high up there. That's insane. Snow plows will hit Metro Denver streets on Tuesday morning because that storm is now moving into Wyoming, and we're going to be talking about it in just a second. Up to 19 inches of snow possible in Colorado Tuesday. This came out 10 hours ago before the latest model run, and I'll share that with you, and it's looking epic. Wyoming Department of Transportation, snowstorm to bring slick roads and black ice to Wyoming, especially on I-80. And that's a whiteout you're looking at there. Now let's check the model. Let's bring it back and move it through slowly. Here's your Tuesday, 6 a.m. So at midnight, that storm's going to be moving into Wyoming. It's already hitting Montana now. And Wyoming, in the morning, it's going to be cold. And look at these totals. By 6 p.m., most of Wyoming is going to be covered in heavy snow. These teal regions here, 18 to 20 inches. And that's just the beginning. By midnight, Tuesday, Wednesday morning, the storm will have dropped all the way down into the southern Rockies, into the South San Juans where I live, where the snow will begin to build towards the morning. Here we are at 12 noon Sunday, where we already have upwards of 24 to 36 inches on Wolf Creek. That's the Continental Divide. And it's even Archuleta County where I am. So we're going to be doing our best to cover our crops. If the crops get covered with snow, that's the best we can do. If we have crop blankets and then the snow covers the blankets, the crops are going to be great. But this is an epic storm. Look at this pump right here. And this is going to happen right here. Wednesday noon, Wednesday 6 p.m., Wednesday night, Thursday morning. So it's looking epic, and we're going to be reporting it from site. Early season snow for Central Rockies and fire weather concerns out west. A powerful cold front will plunge into the south central plains. It's insane. Are you listening? Oh, let me get that. That's our final. This is our final video, so a little bit of this has been going off all night, so it's really driving me crazy. But let's get back to it. Expect significant accumulations with gusty winds in the higher elevations of Wyoming and Colorado. We're expecting 12 to 18 above 9,000. Now, Three Canyons Permaculture Farm sits at about 6,700 feet, so we're predicted to get 3 inches out of the system, as well as much needed rain. It hasn't rained here all summer for the most part. So there's that. But up at Oppenheimer Ranch, where Lee Wheelbarger is currently staying, he's had to procure some heaters, and he's going to be living through it. He's going to be surviving and thriving in the high country during a summer blizzard. So there's that. Meanwhile, widespread critical fire weather conditions are likely across the west. So stay tuned and check those maps for the rolling power outages. Now let's talk about some solutions. And what I mean by that is, how can you protect your plants from Colorado snow and cold? Now, we're in the best position in the southern region here to protect our plants because the soil here is extremely warm. And it's only going to be very cold for very short periods of time in the morning on Tuesday morning, Wednesday, and Thursday morning. And we're going to be making some videos showing you how we're protecting our crops. So stay tuned for that. But let's just listen in here. Shall we?
Just when we were done fighting Japanese beetles for the summer, Mother Nature is throwing us a 1-2 punch and bringing us a temporary but damaging cold front. Gardeners, don't let all your hard work and dedication go to waste. Do things to protect your tender plants so that when the weather does warm back up, you'll have great flowers to carry you into fall.
Trees, shrubs, and perennials will be fine. The soil is still warm, so while they may take a little hit with their blooms, the plants themselves will survive.
I just wanted to note a really nice hops she's showing here. That's hops. Might be a Fuggles, but there's that. So continue listening.
The plants themselves will survive.
As Rob says, harvest and cover. My tomatoes are too big to cover, so I'm going to harvest everything now and just let them ripen inside.
Cover tender annuals, patio pots, herbs, and veggies. Frost cloth, sheets, or even a larger pot turned upside down. Do what you can to give them protection. I'm even going to move some of my patio pots into the garage just in case. Make sure to disconnect all of your hoses and turn your sprinkler system clock to off.
I really like what she's saying here, and I'm just going to continue to reiterate what she has said. So let's just get this off of widescreen here. Now, what we're going to be doing is we have a whole cacophony of different types of cloth, row cover, and plant covers. These are white felt or thin screens, and we're just going to cover everything. I also have some basket type things that you can put over up to 3-foot plants and pull them tight. And this is going to keep just that little buffer you need and some heat up inside of them for those early morning hours on Tuesday morning, Wednesday, and Thursday morning potentially that can damage these crops. We have a lot of squash at the farm here, and that is very sensitive, so we're going to do our best to save as much as we can. Even if it gets hit on the outer leaves, if there's another week of warmth and then 4 to 6 more weeks of warmth without another freeze, we're going to produce more squash and more food. So we're working with that. We also have most of our sensitive plants in our greenhouse. So I added some thermal mass today. We're topping off all of our tanks. We're going to make sure that we have tomatoes into Christmas in our greenhouse. But more importantly, we're also bringing in all of our containers into the garage, just like she said. I've spent maybe $100 on pots and plants and food that are in pots so that I can do exactly that, including peppers and tomatoes and flowers. Because it's still summer, it would be a bummer if everything died and there was nothing to look at for the rest of the season. So do your best and leave comments below on what you're doing. And tomorrow we're going to do a video in the evening on how we're protecting all our crops before that major storm kicks in and the freeze. Also, quick update. Tomorrow I'm going to be installing, Alien Allen and I are going to be excavating with an excavator and installing a concrete cistern system where we're going to tie it into the existing well in case of times of need. So
we start 9 News at 5 with new.
Man, I just can't get rid of these channels popping up. And I have a pop-up blocker, which is really insane. So let's get on with the podcast. It's almost over, but the information is just beginning because it comes out every day. New dating of Nebra sky disk makes all previous astronomical interpretations obsolete. Now, the Nebra sky disk is an amazing artifact found in Germany decades ago by looters. And they tried to sell it, and then they got caught, and et cetera, and the rest is history. But they've been trying to date this baby for decades. And it turns out it's about 3,000 years old. Back in the Iron Age. First millennium BC. My question is, what is this telling us? I don't care how old it is. What in the world does this mean? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Clearly the Pleiades, full moon, crescent moon. But what is this? And what is that? Those are my questions. I love unanswered questions. How about you? Well, many of those unanswered questions will be answered at the Crestone Energy Fair, especially when I'm talking about sustainable agriculture, alternative building, alternative medicine, sustainability in general, how to survive and thrive on your own. These are the old ways that we're using new science and new technology to bring to the forefront so that the masses can end the capitalistic model and save the planet. The capitalistic model has been destroying our planet for almost an eon. I mean, think about it. It doesn't matter what side holds office in America, the Democrats or the Republicans. We still drill for natural resources, which we need. We still pollute the planet, and we still bury trash in landfills. It's almost like idiocracy, by the way. There have been no real solutions from either side ever. And because they're paid off by the multinational corporations that pollute us, pollute our food, pollute our water, pollute our soil, and pollute our souls. It doesn't matter which side you vote for. That's why politics is bunk. What matters is how you live, period. A life worth living, which includes giving, is a life worth sharing. And it's a life with purpose. So if you're into that kind of stuff and you want to come to the Crestone Energy Fair, it's not too late to register. You can register now as a vendor. You can register as a live participant. And you need to get your ass to Crestone this Saturday, which is now. less than 5 days away till my keynote speech, where I'm literally going to bring it all together. I'm really not going to finalize what I'm going to say until I experience the day and that moment comes. But I have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to deliver there, and it's going to be a discussion about hope for the future. And you don't have to really hope for the whole world. You just have to hope for your own community, because that's where we survive and thrive locally. So there's that. Hope you got something out of the video. It's a big boom for me and a big boom for you. Things are coming, which is making many people bumming, but these were predicted by us and our channel 3 years ago. We knew that when we hit that cusp, we were going to see weather changes in the middle of summer. We're going to have early winter, late winter. It's going to be instantaneous. It's going to destroy crops. We're looking at total loss of animals and crops in Wyoming, a major amount of crops being destroyed in western Colorado. But the most important thing is that the homeowners and homesteaders are hit the hardest. This is our peak growing. We have barely a 90-day growing season, and if this kills all the crops, this would make our growing season less than the Arctic Circle in Pagosa this year. Our last freeze was at the end of June, and now we're going to have another freeze in the first week of September. That's a 67-day growing season. Let that marinate for a bit. Please share this with like-minded people. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Leave a comment below. I answer them all, or I at least acknowledge. And be safe. We love you. I'll see you in Crestone, and that's a boom. Click on one of the other videos showing up over here to gain more knowledge. We love you.